Welcome to the Forward Party podcast, where we talk about what actually works in American democracy. Practical solutions, real leadership, and putting people over party. In today's episode, we're diving into something that too often gets overlooked in our national political debates: local leadership. While Washington argues, mayors and community leaders across the country are busy fixing roads, growing local economies, and solving problems without the noise of partisan chaos. As Governor Whitman will remind us this episode, potholes aren't Republican or Democrats. We'll hear from Deke Copenhaver, the former mayor of Augusta, Georgia, and Bryan Vincent, the mayor of Farmville, Virginia, about what effective, results-driven leadership looks like on the ground. They'll share how focusing on community needs, not party labels, leads to real progress. Later, we'll talk with Clint Eisenhauer about the successful mayoral campaign of Jay Doyle in Georgetown, South Carolina, and what it shows about the party of cooperative, nonpartisan leadership to rebuild trust in government. Because the future of our democracy isn't left or right, it's forward. Let's get started. Welcome to another episode of the Forward Party podcast. Governor Whitman and I are thrilled today to welcome two forwardists who are extraordinary leaders in their communities. Former Augusta Mayor Deke Copenhaver, who is now the executive director of their long-term recovery efforts in Augusta following Hurricane Helene, and Mayor Bryan Vincent of Farmville, Virginia, who came out and affiliated with the Forward Party back in 2025. And we are thrilled to have both of you gentlemen with us today.
It's going to be great because, frankly, as I keep saying about Forward, this is where you're all positions that you have held, Deke, and that you are currently in, Bryan, as mayors. That's where the decisions get made that most immediately affect people's lives and the impact that you can have. So looking forward to a really fulsome discussion as to how you have seen these positions change and how you've seen how you can use it to bring communities together.
Well, first off, I think it's, as mayors, you have a fiduciary duty to protect the public trust. And you can do it from that position, but it is the best way to heal your community if you don't get into the toxic partisan politics. But I said, in 9 years in office, when any citizen called with a problem, they never asked me my political affiliation. They wanted their problem solved.
Mayor Vincent, you came and joined the Forward Party last year as a sitting mayor of Farmville. Talk to us about how you found Forward, how Forward found you, and why was it important to you to serve with a relationship with the Forward Party?
Yeah, so for me, long feeling kind of politically homeless. I grew up in a military Republican Reagan household that was based off of strong moral values and virtue. And feeling just a little adrift in politics and not having a place that I could plant myself and that I could find resources and help and camaraderie. And so I was constantly on the search, looking for something that I could help to build. And when I came across the Forward Party, it seemed like the perfect opportunity. The pledge that was laid out for candidates or for elected officials matched up with some very simple values that I had, and so it was an easy assimilation. It was easy to join up and to join the push with the Forward Party to have a better future.
And how do you feel that your constituents have felt about that? Have they accepted that? I mean, do they understand what it means and the freedom it's given you to make the decisions that you need to make?
Yes, I believe so. When I ran for mayor my first term, I was, I had an opponent come at me from the left, and we're a small town, so you're supposed to run as an independent candidate, and there were endorsements from the national level at a Democrat level for my opponent, and I won that election, and now I'm having some pressure from the right coming into this election, and so when I announced my affiliation with the Forward Party, I received a lot of support in the community because I think here in rural Virginia at a really grassroots level, people get it. I go to the grocery store, I see my constituents every day. I face the decisions that are made at the town level every day, whether I'm going to basketball games, the grocery store, or even just walking my dog around the neighborhood. And so people get it. They get that there needs to be a sense of decency and service. And they understand that the duopoly is causing some of that fissure.
Deke keeps nodding for folks who are listening on audio right now. Deke keeps nodding, so it seems like that was your shared experience as well in Augusta. And you ran as an independent and fiercely maintained your sense of independence and your independent brand. How did that affect the way you were able to govern in your community, Deke?
It just was, I didn't play favorites to extremes on either side. And like Bryan said, I got shellacked by the far left and the far right constantly, but I'm like, if I'm getting attacked by the extremes, right. I'm governing to the majority in the middle. But as he mentioned, grassroots engagement is where my heart is, and you're on the ground. I'd still go to the Y every morning when I was in office. I'm like, if you're sitting in a steam room with a bunch of sweaty dudes and you're all on equal level, politics is going to come up, but they'll shoot you straight because you're going to them where they are. And so that's something that you can't get, at the state level to a large degree. There are security issues with national figures, but at the local level, we can engage with the local people and really keep our finger on the pulse of what works. And I'm not surprised, Bryan, that you're getting that feedback from people. People are sick of toxic political polarization. It's a cancer on our nation.
What do you see going forward? Have you been able to reach out to other candidates for council or some of your legislative candidates to show them that this kind of thing works, to maybe help some of them get the feeling that they can actually be representative of their constituents and not beholding to a partisan platform?
Yeah, it's tough. I think even at the state level, a lot of those folks are vying for dollars from political parties. And so it makes it tough, right? But I will say that I've spoken to a number of our General Assembly members who are friends of mine about my journey and have received a lot of good feedback and folks who are generally very interested. Some former legislators who have either been redistricted out or got kind of sick of the trajectory and stepped off the rails for a little bit, and now they're interested in getting back in, and they're very curious about an independent party that they can align with.
Yeah, Deke and I have been, we've had conversations with a number of sitting mayors around the country, and what's been really exciting to them is the notion that they would be able to run for re-election for these nonpartisan seats. A lot of these seats, as you said, Bryan, they're actually nonpartisan. You're not supposed to be running with a party affiliation, but all of the resources that folks need to run for office are provided by the businesses of the Republican or Democratic Party. So if you want a campaign manager or you need lists to knock doors, you need a fundraising link on your website, all of that's provided by the Republican or the Democratic Party. And we've had sitting mayors tell Deke and I, wait, you give us all of these resources and access to something that would really allow me to run as an independent. Would that have made a big difference for you, Deke, in your campaigns and especially your race for re-election?
It would have. I just think people, as I say, are tired of toxicity. We are a welcoming party, and we welcome people from all stripes. But we need, people exercising political courage these days. And to me, to cling to the status quo and say, I'm not going to, go against my side because then I'm not going to get funded. That's cowardice. That's not courage. And we need courage now.
What about you, Mayor Vincent? Do you find the same thing, the same feeling?
Yes, I agree that there's, oftentimes people will ask me why, how I govern the way I do as the mayor and as the presider and sort of the leader of the town. I project a pretty solid hand of steady leadership, calm leadership, even in the face of outrageous distrust in government, which is filtering down from the top to our level. And it's really about a fortitude, like Deke said. There's a strength that you have to have internally that allows you to push all that noise aside, to push ambition aside, to push personal gain aside, and recognize that you're in this for the public good and the greater good, and to stand firm in that. There's a power, like you can feel it when you do it. It's the old thing our parents used to say, you know the right thing to do, and when you do the right thing, it feels good.
Yeah.
So if people can remember that, and I think there will be a snapback because we've gone too far the other direction. Yes, I feel it in my community. I feel it on the street here, where people are very hungry for that form of leadership.
I think what a lot of people don't understand is I think you all have a much harder job than I had as governor, in the sense of everybody knows where you live, everybody knows your telephone number, and everybody expects you to answer immediately, 24/7. Doesn't matter. I mean, you're always in a public office on 24/7, but you all in town councils are the ones where people expect you to respond right away and solve the problem. And I don't know how you do a pothole for just Republicans or just Democrats. Doesn't work that way. What have you found, though, as your biggest challenges as an independent? Has there been pushback because of that? Has there in any way impeded your ability to get done what you want to get done in a timely fashion?
Well, I think, as Deke said, like you tend to, if you stand in the middle, you tend to take shots from both sides.
Right.
And so people want you to align with one or the other because signals to them that where they are is fine. Mm-hmm. And they get aggravated if there's somebody in the middle who's advocating for more pragmatic, rational solutions to problems, right? Because it requires some effort. It requires personal effort on individuals' parts to be an active and intentional listener and to try and understand other people's points of views. And that's very hard these days. We're not being conditioned to do that. So I find the challenge really is that, on my level, you tend to get one or two agitators who get in there, and their objective is to be really obstructionist and to draw some of that national ire and grievance into local government. And when it does happen, it just further erodes trust in government. And that's not of service to the community. It's not of service to your citizens. And so the toughest part for me really is when I talk about the fortitude of remaining calm in the face of that sort of grievance and outrage that seems always outsized to the moment. That's of paramount interest. As a father, my objective is always and has always been in service to project a model of leadership that my girls can emulate in the next generation. And so that's the biggest challenge, but that's why we're here in local service.
That desire to remain focused on service and to maintain that sense of fortitude. Where can you all pull from? Is that your communities, your faith, your family? How can the Forward Party, building what we're building, how can we help foster that for you all?
I'll say I'm definitely grounded in my faith, and that helps tremendously. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten through life without it. But I think to let people know that there are more people out there that think the way that we do, that are more centrist and more moderate than extremists. And I tell people, to pander to the extremes of the vocal minority is not leadership. I would say that's cowardice as well. But it's like basically, if every time your kid, and back to your daughter, Bryan, threw a tantrum, you gave them, said, okay, well, here, have some more candy, and how about some Coke? And you just rewarded aberrant behavior. What kind of a child would you raise, and what kind of communities do we develop if we let the vocal minority drive the debate?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And absolutely. I think that's it in a nutshell. I know from my level, I always think about, I carry faith with me. I carry philosophy with me. I study a lot of Stoicism because it seems especially helpful and pertinent in these times. And my family, I lean heavily on my family. Even before this last run, everybody in the household has to be okay with another campaign.
Yeah.
And I need that strength. I need the strength of a solidified household because it is my sanctuary and the most important thing to me. My 11-year-old was the holdout. My 14-year-old was good. My wife was good. My 11-year-old was the holdout, and her concern were twofold. One, it takes time away, right? As a father, you're devoting a portion of your life to public service and not private service with your family, and you have to recognize that trade-off and try to make the balance. But her number two concern, from an 11-year-old's mouth, was that people are crazy these days, and that there are a lot of people who she knows of people, even regionally, who have posted my address online with the intent of trying to get people to come to my house. And so as an 11-year-old, that's a weight that she has to carry. That's a weight as a family we have to carry. But she also recognizes that, as I always tell them, either you get more of me and personal lessons and life lessons at home, or I enter this arena and I try to make the world a better place for you to walk into. And so that's the mission, and that's the thing that sort of drives me in service.
Amen, brother.
Well, Mayor Vincent, Mayor Copenhaver, the communities of Farmville and Augusta are so lucky to have you all as principled leaders. We are really, really honored that you all have the relationship you do with the Forward Party and are helping us as we build this thing. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing y'all soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much.
And thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That was fantastic.
That was
Mayors
great.
Vincent and
Yeah.
Copenhaver are extraordinary leaders. We're really, really lucky to have them in our family. Good morning, Lieutenant Governor.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us again today.
No, I'm very excited, and I got to listen in on the mayor's discussion. And I have to say that mayors are the most important people in government because they make the communities that we all live in go around. So it's so inspiring to hear those forward mayors.
That's what Governor Whitman was saying too, that they've got a really hard job because they're never anonymous, and their constituents are
no,
always
not at all.
looking to them, whether it's in the grocery store or, as Mayor Copenhaver said, in a steam room.
In a steam room, yeah. Sweaty guys. A whole bunch of sweaty guys together.
Yeah, they have to allot extra time to go grocery shopping because they're going to hear from all of their constituents
Yeah, no
every time they
kidding.
go out.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I know you're not going to make it through the produce aisle quickly.
Oh, not at all.
Well, we have Clint Eisenhauer is going to be joining us next, and Clint is the South Carolina Forward Party chair, and was
Been
really
doing a great
instrumental
job.
in another Forward mayor this year, Jay Doyle. So we'll bring Clint on to have us learn more about that journey.
Great.
Okay, hey guys, can we bring our buddy Clint Eisenhauer?
Good morning, Lindsay.
All right,
Hey,
good morning,
Governor,
Clint
and good morning,
Eisenhauer.
Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, good morning, Clint.
Morning, Clint.
So Clint Eisenhauer is the chair of the South Carolina Forward Party, where we have ballot access. And Clint, how long have you been in that role now?
A while, right?
4 years. We just started our fifth year, and we're very excited about what 26 and actually the next two election cycles are going to bring. So we're working hard at it.
Clint, share a little bit about your background and talk about how what you did in your career influenced your searching for something like the Forward Party.
Well, I had worked sort of tangentially with politicians and legislatures and so forth, representing companies as a government affairs guy. And so after retirement, I was thinking that I needed to continue that involvement somehow, but more on the actual campaigning and on the real politics side of things. And so when I found the Forward Party, and this was at the very inception in 2021, I felt like I had found like-minded people. I had found a home, and I've been working at it every day ever since. And I'm still very, very excited about it.
Well, tell us a little bit about your most recent win, the mayor you brought in, and what it meant to have him campaign as a forwardist.
Well, as you all know, it all starts with the candidate, doesn't it? It's and every candidate is different, every race is different, and the circumstances around every campaign they're different, and so you have to be flexible, and you have to be ready to take advantage of what the market will give. And when we found Jay Doyle, he was just a very plain-spoken guy. He had been living. He was originally from Massachusetts with a heavy Massachusetts accent, I might add, and it was.
I take objection to that. I don't.
Well, you don't like the Massachusetts accent?
Just the characterization, a heavy Massachusetts accent.
It is a
he
heavy-
sounds
it is a
very
heavy
good to me. Jay sounds just fine to me.
Well, that's right. But, in Georgetown, South Carolina, a lot of people had not heard that accent before. And so it was, sort of a learned appreciation. But at any rate, Jay was not and he'll be the first to admit that he was not a polished public speaker. He was not a polished public or politician in the old sense of the word. But he was a guy who was willing to get his hands dirty. He dug deeply into the local city budget and into the things that were really hurting many of the people in Georgetown, because they had lost their three major industries upon which people could build a life. And so Georgetown is now faced with sort of a redevelopment that will hopefully go in the direction of, sort of reconstituting the economy, not necessarily around jobs, hospitality jobs, and that kind of thing, which are important for the livelihood of a city, but they're typically not the kind of jobs that you can build a family life around, and sustain generations, which was the case with the industry that they had lost. So that was the challenge, and so Jay really talked about the sort of watchword of politics today at the national level, but it's true across the country, and that's affordability. Jay really dug into that. He talked to the residents across the spectrum, and really understood what was driving that. And a lot of it was utility costs. And so he engaged with the utility companies. He engaged with all of the things that make up those how they calculate those bills, which, in some rural communities, it's sort of a convoluted process. But at any rate, he got to the bottom of it, and he made the case very simply and very plainly, and it really turned the tide of the election.
So, Clint, could you say a few words about what it does for a community when they have a mayor or other local officials who are not acting in a partisan basis, but really just trying to serve their voters and do the kinds of things that you're talking about? We're so concerned these days about the fact that people are losing trust in government. And, did you see the people of Georgetown, grow in comfort and trust because of Jay's leadership?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Carrie. The mood in Georgetown, where the city is 50% white, 50% black, and the previous incumbent Republican regime had not been very responsive across the board. And so Jay, I think, was able to offer a vision of the future that everybody responded to. And he was able to do that, I think, while also talking, and this is sort of an interesting, I learned from this, that he was able to talk about forward in a way that I hadn't really thought about before, but it really resonated with the voters. And the way he positioned it was he was running as a forwardist. He could have run as an independent. He could have run as any one of 9 different certified parties in South Carolina, but he chose forward because he was able then to, first of all, represent his constituents without any other kinds of chains or tethers to ideology or any kind of culture issues, that kind of thing. And so he wore it really as a badge of pride. And I think what that taught me was, as I talked to other politicians who are wondering, how do they run under the Forward banner, because it's so new, because it's heretofore at least was unproven. And I think Jay just turned that kind of on its head and said, look, this is the only way I would run. And I think we supported him from national to the state level to the local level. And we were able to get him across the goal line. And he didn't sneak across the goal line, as you know. It was, he won by 56%. So it was a strong race, and the people now, I think, as you can imagine, he is just completely drinking from the fire hose, and trying to get his hands around all of the issues that that both the city and the county are wrestling with. And so we're continuing to work with him. And that's the other thing that I think is important about what we're trying to do, and that's is build long relationships with our candidates, whether they win or they lose, because the runways are long, right? And, we are being quick to tell the other candidates that we are working with now that, look, and Kerry, I know you've said this several times that, I think you lost 2 races before you won. And that's important for people to understand, is that, they need to look at this as a 2 or 3 cycle proposition and get used to that notion. And so we think that Jay's win, was really something that we can build upon in a lot of different ways. It has gotten some attention for us, both good and challenging as well, but that's okay. We're ready for them, and we're excited. We think we're going to have 10 to 12 candidates that will be a combination of our ballot line and affiliates and nonpartisans. And we're already hard at work at those races, and we've got some really exciting candidates that are, I think, going to win, and that's the whole point, right? So we can't wait to get this year underway.
Clint, you have been at this, as you said, for 5 years, and over the course of those 5 years, you shepherded Ford, South Carolina, through a merger with another political party in the state of South Carolina. You all secured ballot access. You've built out regional leadership across the state. And now the result was this extraordinary win by Jay Doyle. First time since 1894 that anyone in the state of South Carolina won a seat that was not a Republican or a Democrat. So it's really significant. So Clint, for listeners who are dialing in from all over the country, what are some of your key learnings over the course of these 5 years as you've continued to build and build and build? What advice would you give to folks who are thinking, I'd like to do something similar in my community?
Well, first of all, I would say that if they're drawn to public service, that's a wonderful calling, and they should follow their heart that way. And so the things that we've learned are that we need to help people who are new to politics understand the good, the bad, and the ugly, what to expect, how to meet those challenges, how to, if they get knocked down, dust themselves off, get up again tomorrow and go at it again. And those things happen. So I guess the thing that I've learned that is, and I said this at the top of this discussion, is that every race is different, every candidate is different, and you've really got to dig down into the circumstances and the way things are going to play, and prepare yourself for that. And I think that's why I'm excited about the Forward Party. I think we've got a great message to share. I think that that message is resonating, first of all, with candidates who really want to represent their constituents, particularly if they've had experience with other parties where they have tried to sort of express themselves and they've been beaten back a little bit. And when they come to our party and they see that, and we see that we agree on values and principles, on behavior, on the way that we should represent in our democracy, they're excited about that, and they respond to that quite well. So, then it's just a matter of trying to find the volunteers, the other people who will get out and knock on doors and do all the hard work that it takes to find the other financial resources that it takes to run a competitive race. But once you start, everybody, I think, gets really fired up about, and it becomes an investment in the community. And that's the way public service is supposed to be, isn't it? So, I think we are at the beginning of something that's really going to be exciting. And by the way, this is a state that is, right out the door, it's at least 6 points Republican. Republicans own they control both branches of legislature, the Senate and the House. They control the governor's office and every elected office in the state, by the way. And yet, at least, the Democratic Party, now we don't register as partisans in this state, although there is a hearing at our state house today because the Republicans are trying yet again to close our primaries. And we, in a coalition that we're a part of, we have mounted a pretty major defense of that. But at any rate, we have just simply got to continue the fight. We've got to not let the daunting numbers get us down, and just go after it. And I think what we've proven, we've run 8 candidates so far. 5 of them have won, and so.
It's a pretty good win
rate. That's not nothing.
Clint?
I think we're right. We're pretty excited about our record, and we're going to go after it. And we're not going to lay down. One of the other things that I think is important to note is that some people, I have noticed, mistake our platform of values and principles and decency and those kinds of things as less than aggressive. And what I tell them is that, nobody's going to be more aggressive than we are. We're just going to try and do it the right way. But we are not going to lay down for anybody, and we're going to meet them at the town square, at the disco, wherever they are. We're going to meet them, and we're going to tell them our story, and we're going to win elections too.
Volunteers like you are the backbone of the Forward Party, and we can't do anything without our volunteers. And I hope that people are listening to you and thinking, I'd like to get a group going in my state if it doesn't exist, or join the forwardists who are already working in states around the country. And the other point you brought up, which I think is so important, is that Forward does wonderfully well in states where one party is completely dominant, because we can just move right in there and offer an alternative to people who've been starved of having any alternatives. We can be the second party. We're not a third party in those states. And that's 80% of the states around the country only have one party to choose from. So I really applaud you and all of your colleagues for giving choice to voters again. And hopefully we'll be able to do that around the country.
You've been a great leader for us, Clint. It's been always a pleasure working with you. But you
thanks,
really
Gary.
have made a difference.
Listen, we couldn't do it without National. You all give us the tools to have gotten where we are so far, and you're continuing to do that. And so it's a very much a joint effort, and we're building out across the country, and that's very, very exciting. And so we're a part of it. We're with you, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to make it successful.
You're amazing, Clint. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your fantastic leadership. And anybody in the state of South Carolina, go to forwardparty.com,
Right.
click on the map, click on the state of South Carolina, sign up. Clint Eisenhauer will give you a call.
You betcha. Today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
3 incredible local leaders for the Forward Party, 1 former elected official, 1 current sitting elected official, and 1 of our state leads as a volunteer. And Clint didn't hear the first conversation with Bryan and Deke, and yet the word that came through all the conversations was service.
Right.
Over and over again was the word service.
To their constituents.
To their constituents
Not
and
to a
communities.
party, to their constituents.
It's so funny. People always ask, when you talk about a new party, they're always excited about who are you going to run for president? Who are you going to run for Senate? But the most important thing that we found is who are you going to run for city council? Who are you going to run for mayor? Who are you going to get into the state legislature? Because that's where we're going to begin to rebuild public trust in public service, where you're going to find people who literally want to serve their neighbors. And that's why they're involved, not for fame. There's no fame involved in being a local
It's more
official.
like pain.
There is pain. There's not
Pain,
fame.
not fame.
But it is. There's almost nothing more important you could do to help your community.
Right.
And also, I was so taken with how the mayors talked about their families and how involved your family has to be in these kinds of decisions, but how they framed it in this really beautiful way of that you're taking time away from your family, but you're also creating a better world for your kids to walk out into. I thought that was a really beautiful way of talking about it.
Well, that's the beauty of Forward. You don't have to adhere to a party. You adhere to your principles and what, as I forget which mayor it was who said it. It's who I am, and the example I'm setting for his daughter who was
Mayor
skeptical.
Vincent.
That was Mayor Vincent. That's right. The daughter who was skeptical because his name was going to be out there, and people are crazy these days, as she said. But I can sit here and I can do things with you at home, or I can go out there and I can make it a better world for you. And that's the beauty of what we're doing, is giving them that freedom to do it.
Yeah, Mayor Doyle, ran a campaign on the issues. He ran a campaign on economic empowerment. We talked in one of our last podcasts about wedge issues and what the Republican and Democratic Party has done to wedge us. And Mayor Doyle was able to engage in a real substantive discussion about economic empowerment and job creation in his community because he ran outside the 2-party system.
Right.
Didn't talk about wedge issues at all.
Yeah, you don't have to. And those actually
have to.
aren't the things that right now the country is interested in. Right.
Or what it needs.
They actually are concerned about the cost of food. They're concerned about whether they can buy a house, whether they can pay off their educational loans. We will be a party that will allow our politicians, our representatives, to talk about the things that people care about, and not to get all hung up in the culture wars or other things that distract from things that impact people in their daily lives.
It's the everyday issues, and those are not the ones that you hear coming out of Washington and other places where they're talking about up here, and we're all down here trying to make a living and trying to ensure that our families are safe and have a better world ahead of them. And that's Forward.
Thank you to Mayor Bryan Vincent, Mayor Deke Copenhaver, and Forward South Carolina Party Chair Clint Eisenhauer for joining us today on the Forward Party Podcast.